How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to the channel, and welcome back to another review with me, the RealShadyUnicorn. Today we're going to review As Dusk Falls from Xbox. I played it on the Xbox Series X. It was an Xbox Game Studios published, and it was developed by Interior Nights. It is a narrative adventure game, basically a visual novel in like comic book style, with six chapters and a very intense story, let me tell you. I went in playing this game blind. I had no idea what it was about. I seen that it was going to be free on Game Pass same day, and I thought, well, let's give it a try. I ended up live streaming the entire thing. I did not do well. Some people got bored, and I understand. It's like watching a drama series, and I can appreciate that. I wasn't disappointed in that. I appreciated the story. There was a lot of moments where it was like, oh, that happened, and they ended it really good. And I mean, the goal of this game is like any other narrative game, like the supermassive games, where you're just trying to keep everybody alive, make the right choices, try to get a good ending. And I ended up getting a really good ending. I ended up saving everybody but two people, and the one I didn't see coming, but the first one, it was like, oh, it is what it is. I mean, but everybody else survived, and it ended up turning out to be a very good story. You don't really know where it's headed, but you do try to get people through it. You play as multiple characters, you're making multiple choices, you start in a hotel, it ends up... Well, actually, you start in a place where you're robbing somebody, then you end up in a hotel, and then you end up basically fast-forwarding into the future, and you follow certain characters here and there. And then in the end, you kind of see how the crossroad choices that you made play out. As far as narrative-driven games go, I would not say this is my favorite. I prefer like the Until Dawn action-y type games where you have like a little less time to make your choice and a little more impact immediately. This particular game, you have roughly 15 seconds to make each choice, and after you make your choice, you don't really know what the decision led to until the end. And as much as I appreciate the original idea, it makes the choice feel less impactful in the moment. Like when I'm playing the actual game, there was very few split-second choices that made an immediate reaction. Most of them were like crossroad choices to where it's like, okay, this is going to determine who survives, who dies, and which ending you're going to get in the game. The characters, though, the writing and the characters are both the best part of this game. Each character is very dynamic and original, and the writing is very suspenseful. It can be right up there with the greatest TV shows. What was impressive to me is how each chapter took you into a different realm, and then in the end, it came together for the conclusion. You're not really sure how each person is tied to each other and how each thing is going to work together or impact. But then as you get further into the story, you start realizing like, okay, so this choice is where this is going to start impacting something, and I may have a problem, or I may have saved somebody. I know like at the end when I can't remember the kid's name, the youngest brother was at the border of Canada, and he met up with the park ranger. And I took the choice of being honest with the park ranger and explaining to him what was going on, and amazingly, I thought I was caught. I thought, okay, I'm done. No way I'm saving that. Amazingly, there was a secret branch off of that story where he actually let me cross, and I ended up living in the woods. It was a rare achievement. Like 1.8% of people ended up taking that route and letting him go. So I was thrilled about that. So I did make some interesting choices that did, in the end, have some impact, and I was surprised by. But there was just some that it's like, oh, what was the point of that choice then? And there are some that you didn't realize, like at the end, the daughter that was at the beginning, the little girl, you're basically following her story, and they show her growing up in the end, and she's talking to her grandpa and the healthcare worker, or a home healthcare aide, and he's telling them that somebody broke into his house and stole his wallet, and they're not believing him. And I wasn't sure, because basically the narrative has been the whole time that my character, which is his granddaughter, has been driven off anxiety and has like anxious paranoia, and so she doesn't really trust her own eyes sometimes because she has these flashbacks from the traumatic events that she dealt with at the hotel. In the end, I chose not to believe the grandfather, and it was the surprise death at the end that I did not expect, as all of a sudden we're heading to his house, we hear somebody struggling and talking, and then you hear a gunshot and somebody in a hoodie run out, and it fades to black. Like, that was an unfortunate choice that was made. I did not realize. I thought that because he did have signs of having some dementia or some memory loss issues, and so it was a really tough one to make. With all that being said, I do want to touch a little bit on the graphics and how it is a little different than your typical game. It's not like a supermassive game where it's a full-fledged world. It's basically a comic book style stop motion game where people are moving, but it's not a fluid movement. It's like they start here and then they end here, and it's not a fluid movement. It's just a stop motion movement, which was fine. I did not know or what to expect when I actually went into the game. So hopefully for any of you who want to actually play it, please be aware that it is a comic book style. It is a slow pace. There are a couple of chapters that are slow burning, but if you enjoy a good story or good character development, I would recommend giving it a go at least once. With all of that being said, I'd like to go ahead and give my shady rating. As much as I enjoyed the story, as much as I appreciate that it was a same day as Game Pass release, and as much as the writing and characters were top-notch, I just don't feel like this was a game. I felt this way about Last Stop as well. It would have done better as a made-for-TV series or a made-for-TV movie in which people could choose to watch it. Or they could have marketed this as an interactive movie instead of an action-adventure game or a narrative-adventure game. I think it's an interactive movie, and that's really what it is. This one did have more impactful choice reaction than Last Stop did, so that at least puts it in more of a game realm, but there's not much gameplay elements in this at all. You're basically pushing quick action buttons like up or down when you swipe, or mashing A or tapping A, and that's that, and making a choice in 15 seconds. Not a lot of gameplay elements, but still a great story nonetheless. So I would give As Dusk Falls a 3.5 out of 5 Shady Unicorns. Let me know if you've played As Dusk Falls on anything, on Xbox or on, I think it was on Steam. Yes, Windows, Xbox. Let me know if you enjoyed it, if you enjoy games like this, if you think that these are better made as games, or if they should be a TV series or show. Let me know in the comments below. I do want to thank you for watching. Please remember to like the video and subscribe to the channel. It really helps the algorithm and it gets my video out there to more people. I super appreciate any and all support. And I hope to see you in the next episode. Bye, everybody.